Howdy everybody, this is Steve, and today I wanted to show you this really cool website. This is called PCJS, or it's a PC emulator using JavaScript, and I'll have a link to the website in the description down below. But there was some really interesting stuff on here, and it gives you a way to play with just about anything you can think of on vintage computers up to like 386 Windows 95 days. There are a couple of virtual machines set up right here on the home page. But there are also, like this one here would just load you right into Multiplan, or this one here, I'll just show you. This will load you into the Compact Portable. We did a video on the Compact Portable, beep, on my channel a while ago. Loads up, goes right into the demo, and then once the demo is loaded, you can interact with it. But this should look very familiar because of the video that I did on the Compact Portable, which is linked up here, where I went through these floppy disks a while back, because this was a little piece of nostalgia that was pretty fun. And how cute. Let's do 5 to quit, returning to DOS. So the original Compact Portable ran at 4.77 megahertz. It was a 8088 at 4.77 megahertz. But down here at the bottom there are some buttons. I'm going to switch this. There's 9, there's 19, 38, 76. So it goes up to 76. Let's put it at 76 and let's run that demo again. This is something that I couldn't do back then, but 76.32 megahertz is interesting. Bloop. And then that blinking's just going to drive me insane. Alright, so that's one of the machines. So the next thing I can do is I can change that out from MS-DOS 1.1. Let's make it DOS 3. Is there a regular Microsoft? Oh, there's DR-DOS. Look at all these different floppy disks I can stick in there. The Hitchhiker's Guide. Let's see. Pascal. Let's get down to the Jeff's MS-DOS tools. I've never seen that before. Let's look at that real quick. So we pick that for the floppy disk drive and we hit load and we do dir, and that's not a very good disk. Let's load. It's going to tell me it's already loaded. I'm going to do it again. All right, Jeff's MS-DOS 3.20 tools. It's not a thing. Let's pick another disk because I was going for a newer version of Microsoft DOS. MS Mouse, MS Multiplan, MSOS 2. Why is it? Did I skip the D's? Might be under Microsoft instead of MS. Well, that would be before that. Alphabet is hard. Microsoft Adventure. Yeah, it's not there. All right, so let's do PC BIOS sources. And I don't see PC DOS either. So it looks like the floppy disks are different based on the different machines, which is why I'm not seeing that. Let's get the latest version of Compact DOS, which is going to be 3.1. Let's load that, and then let's reset. Let's speed this up. Oh, it reset it back to the other disk. No, this is 3.10. Oh, okay. So it's got this little macro script that runs when it first boots up, and it ran that even with the new disk installed. Let's do dir. Oh, look at that. Looks like DOS tools. fdisk. Contains no fixed disks. All right, well, we've got to fix that by going back to another machine that has a hard disk attached to it. So if we look at the Explorer, there's a couple of machines down here. Let's see. From AT&T, we can play with an AT&T 6300. With color graphics. From CDP, we can play with a CDP MPC 1600 with color graphics. From Compaq, we get the Compact Portable that we were just playing with. DeskPro 286 doesn't have a machine. 386 doesn't have a machine. IBM PC Junior doesn't have a machine. And then the IBM PC 5150, we get color graphics, monochrome display, dual displays. Let's try that. Monochrome display at the top and the color display at the bottom. It's booting. Can we change the speed? We can change the RAM. We can't change the speed. Alright, so let's do mode CO80. And now we should be on the color screen. Yep. This is pretty cool. And then we do mode mono. Now we're back on the monochrome screen. Excellent. So what you could use this for, so yeah, dual displays was a thing way back in the beginning of PCs. What you can use this for is to have like your compiler on one screen and your test of your output program on the other screen. So if you're making a color program, you put your compiler on the monochrome screen and you run through the debugger on the color screen. Or Lotus 123 supported this. You could do Lotus 123 on the text screen and then make your chart on the graphical screen. So that's pretty cool. Let's go back to the Explorer. So there's dual displays. There's VGA display. Default. Change that to 640. And see, now we've got that PC DOS disk. Let's see if Microsoft DOS is in here. Rogue. There's S's. PHLMNOP. MS-DOS 5 on 360K disks. That's fine. All right. Let's load that and reboot. So this is a PC 5150 with a VGA card. So this would be another 4.77 megahertz machine. And it's 640K and MS-DOS 5. So it's going to take it a second to boot up. Oh, the machine crashed. Okay, let's go back to the Explorer. That wasn't what I wanted to show you. It was just something that kind of sidetracked me. PC XT 5160, CGA, EGA, monochrome, PC AT 5170, which would be a 286, CGA and VGA with CD-ROM. I don't know why they elected to put a CD-ROM drive in a 286. PC hard drive, PC video adapters, Zenith Z150. I don't know what a Z150 is. CGA display. Oh, I played with this the other day. Question mark for help. Question mark for help. Invalid command. And it's because there was actually a space there for some reason. I didn't put the space there. So we can do that. Let's say B to boot from disk. And you can see that it's got the PC-DOS 2.0 floppy in it. And we booted right up into PC-DOS 2.0. Let's see if this one has a fixed disk. Nope, no fixed disk present. Back to the Explorer. So there's some arcade machines. The original Space Invaders machine in attract mode. Space Invaders at 2 megahertz. Nice. It's probably more processing power than this thing needs. All right, what do we have? From DEC, we've got a PDP-10, PDP-11, VT-100. Intel, we have the 8080 Exerciser. A couple of LED-based toys that they have. The OSI Challenger. Or the TI, a couple of different TI calculators. So one of the cool things that I found, if we go back to the beginning of this, I don't know why they're not inside of the compact section, but if you hit PC compatibles here, you can see different compact Desk Pro machines. So Desk Pro 386 with CGA, EGA, different amounts of RAM, compact VGA, IBM VGA, and IBM VGA running Windows 95. See how long that one takes to start. I haven't booted Windows 95 in a very, very long time. Probably since Windows 98, since 1998. Let alone booting it on a 386. I don't remember if I ran Windows 95 on a 386. Welcome to Windows 95. Let's check out properties of the machine and see. Registered to Jeff. Okay, Jeff, thank you. 386, 4 megs of RAM. All right, let's see. It should be a 68 meg hard disk if you were paying attention to the boot up. All right, that went straight into the C drive instead of going into my computer. Start. Programs. Windows Explorer. No disk in drive A. That's what I thought. So it appears to be running DOS 5 under the hood. 67.1 megabytes, so close enough to 68 megabytes. Let's see if it is indeed running DOS 5 under the hood. Windows 95 instead of saying DOS. That's interesting. All right, let's go and look at a different machine. And so this being JavaScript, it all runs right inside your browser. So you're actually not taxing his server as much as you are taxing your own machine. Let's do with VGA. And this should just be plain DOS. The date's correct, the time is correct, and it's DOS 3.31. Let's do fdisk. So now we have an fdisk. Let's do display with no partitions defined. Press escape, press escape. What I'm going to try and do here is I'm going to try and get a different version of DOS instead of DOS 3. OS 2. Well, let's try Jeff's MS-DOS tools again. Load. Oh, hey, look, that's better. PC Pal. Jeff Parsons. That name sounds familiar. PC Pal / L to load / C to set caps / T10 for screensaver timeout. Alt key for utilities. Okay. Okay, what else is on here besides that thing that we don't know anything about? Okay, so caps lock is forced on now that I've loaded the PC Pal. HDisk, MASM. Yep, that would be assembly language code, that's right. And that's it compiled. And it crashed. Alright, so let's go back to what we were planning on doing, which was going through the newer version of DOS instead of 3.1 I think it was. Quick Pascal, I didn't know Quick Pascal was a thing. I wrote a lot of Quick Basic programs and a lot of Visual Basic programs, and with this being 3 disks, this is probably Visual Basic for DOS. MS, and again, I'm missing out on Alphabet. Yeah, I wonder why they don't have Microsoft DOS disks. Microsoft Adventure. Alright, fine. Let's go back to another way of doing this. Yeah, 3.31 is the newest. Let's do 3.31 and Control-Alt-Delete. Alright, so we locked the machine up, and I'm going to have to refresh because Control-Alt-Delete's not working. And I guess we're sticking with DOS 3.31. Alright, so now, one of the cool things you can do with this thing is set up a hard disk. So let's do fdisk, create a DOS partition, create a primary partition. Yes, I want to make it active. Yes, I actually want to do the thing I went through all those menu options to do, and then we'll reboot. This is typical DOS stuff. So we've done this before on the channel, but the cool part about it is this is all in a web browser. So we're booting back off of the floppy disk. So now we do format C:/S. Yep, it's going to format. Yes, again. And it seems to be running pretty close to like hardware speeds. This wasn't instant and done. So they put some thought process into making the experience authentic. Except for that 75 megahertz compact portable. That was fun. Alright, so we've got that formatted. We've got the system transferred. All right, so now we need to go to the C drive. Make dir DOS, cd DOS. I didn't need to do that in capitals, I just did. // Copied all the files off of the A drive. Let's go to disk 3. And then hit load. I hit F3 on my keyboard and it doesn't translate into the machine because Macintosh. All right, let's do copy // again. Let's go to the C drive. Let's copy con auto exec.bat. I always do that wrong. I don't know why I do Control D. Probably because of working in Linux all these years. But Control Z writes it out to disk. We've got it written out to disk. Let's remove the floppy from the floppy disk drive by hitting no floppy, hitting load, and then let's reboot. Control Alt Delete. We'll boot off of the hard disk. I don't know what it's doing. There it is. Welcome to... Oh, I know why. That did take a while to boot up, though. Okay, so we don't have a good text editor because this is DOS 3. Let's see what we can do from floppy disks. Sidekick, Adventures in Math, Monochrome Mazes. Desk view, DOS drivers, CD-ROM drivers, DOS internals, double DOS. A lot of software on here that I don't even know. I've never heard of. I've run DR-DOS before. That was pretty cool. Digital research, intergalactic digital research, Dune, Eagle CPM, empty disk. That's cool. Flicker free, flight simulator, graphics, Hitchhiker's Guide. King's Quest, Invaders Boot Sector, Basic Compiler, C, Macro Assembler, MASM Mouse, Multiplan, Microsoft OS 2, QBasic, nice, MS Unfiled Utilities. I don't see anything in there that looks like an editor. Word. Oh, now there's MS-DOS. That's why, because it's all the way at the end of the alphabet. It was there all along. MS-DOS 6. Well, fine then. Let's put MS-DOS 6.2 on here real quick. I don't know what the difference is between the 1.2 meg disk 1 and the 1.2 meg boot. All right, let's reboot it. Starting MS-DOS. Oh, it's going right into setup. To set up MS-DOS, press enter. Your computer already has DOS installed. Continue setup and replace. These settings are correct. I want it in C:/DOS. Let's delete everything out of the DOS folder. That's nice. I'll zip through this real quick. All right, restarting with DOS 6.2. Let's see what it did. Takes a long time to get to that starting MS-DOS screen. Oh, it's got config sys in there, and it loaded the smart drive disk cache. All that to get a text editor on the machine. That's not really true, but It was the least friction filled way of doing it. So it changed my prompt, and it put smart drive at the front. DOS equals high files. That all looks good to me. So what do we have? We have 595K of memory free. And there's no scroll back. Nothing's loaded high. So let's run. Well, we can play with that stuff all day long, but that's not the important part of why we're here. We're here to look at what some of the stuff is that they have available. Adventures in Math. Commander Keen was awesome. Compact user programs, DBase 2, DBase 3, Desk View. Desk View, multitasking for 386 machines in text mode. This was before Windows became popular and before Windows got preemptive multitasking. Desk View could do it a long time before, and it was made by a company called Quarterdeck. DOS internals. What's in the DOS internals disk? DevTools, Diskman, include lib memman. A20 test, memblock, spot load, eat block, disk hook, add files. Cool. Let's see. Disk optimizer, double DOS, DR DOS. So one of the interesting things you can do with this is you can save your hard disk. You click the save hard disk button. It does some crunching. And it says check your downloads folder for a 47 meg hard disk image. And Firefox prompts me to save this file, so I will hit save, and I want to save it to downloads, and I want to replace the one I did before, but I don't have any way of bringing it back. This load button is for loading floppy disks. This save button is for saving floppy disk images to your local machine. This browse would be for you to browse and find a floppy disk image on your machine and load it. But I don't see any way to actually mount a hard disk. So as an example, if I say browse, and I pick that 47 meg disk image, and I hit mount, it gives me an unrecognized disk format. But one of the cool things, let's take a look at what is on the C drive right now. One of the cool things I can do is, on my Mac OS machine, those are valid disk image files. So let me go into my downloads folder off camera here, and find the file. And I double click on it, and it is mounted right up. So there's what it looks like. We've got autoexec.old, autoexec.old, autoexec.bat, autoexec.bat, drivespace.bin, drivespace.bin, win82386, command com, config sys, autoexec.bat. So all of that stuff is there. The DOS folder's there. All of that stuff is there. So I can make a usable, useful, bootable DOS image disk and download it. And then I can do whatever I want to do with those files once I download them. So I guess if I wanted to pirate all the software that was here, I could do that. And as long as I don't refresh the web page, it's going to continue to have that disk image loaded. The minute I refresh the web page, we've got to start all of this over again, which is why it's interesting that I can save the hard disk image and not reattach it. There's probably a way to do it. I just don't know how. So we've been scrolling through the top of the list. Let's go to the bottom of the list and work our way backwards. Remote disk, local disk, different versions of Zork, WordStar, Word for Windows, Wolfenstein, Wizardry. What is Wizardry? Wizardry 1 master disk. Okay, that might be a bootable thing. I don't know. Windows 386 2.1. That was an unexpected surprise. Windows SDK, Windows Runtime, Windows 95, Windows 3.11, Windows 3, unprotect files, VGA Blackbook binaries, VisiCalc, Unix System 5, nice. Undocumented PC. I have a feeling that just rebooted the computer. Oh, look, there's a memory test. Finally. SCO Xenix, nice. Rat Bass? Rat Bass. Program to test RT translator. Is this going to run? Oh, it works. Menu for sort program. Enter a list of names from the keyboard. Display the names. Let's display the names. Strike the function key of my choice. Why a function key? No names to display. Enter names. Alfred, Bruce, Dick Grayson? Use a null line to quit, which I did. Alright, let's display the names. Yep. They're kind of already in alphabetical order. Sort names alphabetically. Display the names. Spacebar. Enter a list of names. Okay, let's do Dick, Alfred, Bruce. Display. Yep, they're not in alphabetical order. Sort them. Display them. They're now in alphabetical order. This program works. I'm not really sure why Rat Bass was that important that it needed its own floppy disk, but there it is. All right, let's see what else is here. QNX, Chem386, Planetfall, Paul's File Manager, Test Monitor, CPU Test, CPM, PC Tech Journal, PC Magazine. Just pick one of those random PC Magazine issues. Load. What do we have? I don't know what this is. A single line of sample text. Okay, that was useful. Safari. That was great. But the source code's here, so... Let's see if it tells us what it does. Basic program to create Safari.com. Okay, well, it did the thing. It created a Safari.com file. Don't know what Safari.com does, but it created one. Staying away from abort, retry, ignore. Oh, cool. I don't know what it does, but it stays away from it. Okay, let's try and simulate it. I do not have a disk in the B drive. I didn't put one there. Let's do dirb, at which point it should complain. Nope. Okay, so let's go to the B drive. It's got DOS disk 3 in it. Let's put none in there and load. Now let's do dirb : Safari critical error handler, system reports a disk, and then the machine crashes. All right. So I can go on like this for days, and as a matter of fact, I'm going to go on like this for days after I hit the end recording on the video. But you saw the list of floppy disks down below. Lots of stuff that we can play with. We can load our own floppy disks on here. If there's anything in this list that you've seen scroll by several times that you want me to explore for you, I'd be happy to do it. Or you can look at the link in the description down below and explore yourself. You can't hurt anything here because it's running in JavaScript on your browser, which is all kinds of protected for the most part. And if you do wind up getting in trouble, just hit reset. So this was a fun look at this website. This is the PCJS website with a bunch of different machines. They even have an IBM PC-AT setup with a VT100 terminal connected to it. I was going to say Herminal, VT100 Herminal connected to it. And then you can boot the machine up and then run it from the terminal, and it actually runs in like slow terminal mode. It's pretty interesting to do. But this was like exploring anything 386 and older. I think this stuff is just fantastic playing with this old stuff, especially when I don't have to go buy a PC-AT or a Compact Desk Pro 386 to do it. This is kind of portable playground. Either way, there is a video right over here I think you'll find interesting next. Thanks for being awesome.